Now, I did note at the end of the previous episode, a priest with an apple was outside of town.
Yes.
That was something I would like to say I did notice, because he is...
A priest with an apple. You know, I know guys that use subtext.
And they're all cowards.
Hello, and welcome to Is That Some Kind of Japanimation Thing? A show that has a YouTube channel that remembers when YouTube was like the fifth best way to pirate anime. Anyway, I am Scott, and joining me is my compatriot.
I am Justin. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, and we are continuing our reviews of the original 1998 Trigun. We are going to tackle 3 episodes yet again this series. And we want to remind you that we are brought to you by Hobby Link Japan, your source for figures, statues, figurines, blind boxes. Like if you're into anime blind boxes, they will sell them to you by the display so that you can secure those cool little Pokemon terrariums by the dozen. Those are cool. Also, tons of scale models of real things and imaginary sci-fi things, and the tools you need to make them. But the link will be in the description. That sends us a little money. If you'd rather just send us a little money directly, you can, of course, back us on Ko-fi. And if you're following us on socials, you will know that if you give us anything on Ko-fi ever, you will get every episode early. That's what I've decided. I don't want to do a full Patreon for this. This is still just for funsies. But if you feel like tipping on Ko-fi, one time you can just have everything early. There may be some episodes that come out that are kind of bummers, where we do we get a few guests on and we talk about an old movie, and that will be locked in the Ko-fi zone for a few months. But you only have to pay once, because Ko-fi's mechanisms, not that flexible. It's like you can pay once and get everything. You can pay once for one thing, pay once to get everything, or pay monthly to get everything. And of those, I like the middle one. The middle one's fine. If you give me $5, you can have everything early until I die. That makes sense to me.
I would like to note, just browsing, Hobby Link Japan has a Deadpool figure. So if you're eagerly anticipating, or you just enjoyed, I'm not sure what a release date is, the new Deadpool versus Wolverine, get yourself a Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool version 2.5.
Oh, the number of hands that comes with, even for a Revoltech, very good. All right, so we are picking up with the second half of the cliffhanger from last time, episode Out of Time, directed by Yoshihide Kuriyama, who has done episodes of Dan Cougar, Silent Mobius, Urusei Yatsura, and Wedding Peach, the only magical girl show that is actually a Sailor Moon ripoff, to keep to our millennial anime nostalgia mode.
The most magical girls just within the same genre.
It's just a genre, but Wedding Peach is a Sailor Moon ripoff. All right, so we open up not where we left off, but with a tube. We have a man in a tube upside down.
Yes.
And some other man playing saxophone, and some other man having a conversation about suffering and causing it. And, you know, these men are Mid-Valley and Legato and Knives, and they're all bad guys. And that's what we're... Yes. Yeah, we are establishing that they are behind what is about to happen.
The villain of the piece.
Yeah. We are going to jump back to the ship itself as things are going wrong. We have some bad dudes running around. Gray the Nine Lives, Hopper the Gauntlet, and got Leonov the Puppet Master, who, the puppets are all equally creepy. I don't know why they all have... They look like Wild Bill, but that's what they do.
Evil department store mannequins.
Yeah, just evil department store mannequins. But with enough detail that it's like, actually, I think they'd be creepier if they just had no facial features.
They have facial hair, don't they? They got the big mustache.
They got the mustache.
Yeah. None of that's necessary.
Yeah, really not. So Nick is like, all right, it's time for escalation and start shooting all the puppets. We see that Vash's new robot arm gun, not really well tuned. We are introduced to the other mode of Nick's new cross, the rocket launcher, which he uses to shoot at Gray, who is a big, big guy. Big guy.
And not as incredibly useful as he might have hoped.
Yeah, no, just like he's big. He doesn't really fit in the hallways. He's got machine gun fingers, but I don't know if he needs all 10 at once. They're not packed. There's not that many of them. They're packed pretty close together.
His aim isn't that good, so he's basically, relying on the mass volume of bullets.
We see that Vash is like, all right, well, if things are going wrong down on the generator levels, I will just have to take the shortcut. And he does the underworld trick.
I would like to say the first time I saw it was in Oliver Gruner's Nemesis, which was a terrible movie, but very creative and vigorous.
Underworld, also a terrible movie. Also, I'm pretty sure. I think this episode might predate at least one of those things we're referencing. But yeah, we see Vash do the I'm just gonna machine gun a hole in the ground, and it looks cool for a second, and then they play it for a joke because it is a bit silly. It is a bit silly.
You never realize that he's going to land with like 8 levels of flooring underneath him.
Just a sandwich stack of starship deck. But we get down to the generator level. Everybody's dead. I don't know why everyone was hanging out in the generator level. Was it hang out at the generator day?
They were having a potluck.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? They flip. They 100 years of drifting in the upper atmosphere, and they decided that, you know what, all the space wasn't necessary. They turned part of the generator room into a pickleball court.
There you go.
That's it.
I mean, this ship seems like a pickleball type of place.
It does. It does seem like. Where isn't a pickleball place anymore? What?
Well, as long as they're enjoying their afternoon.
Look, the space is being used. The space is being used. That's what's important. Yeah.
Now, weird question. Gray the Nine Lives, does he actually have some sort of multi-life thing, or is it just he's very hard to kill? It's very.
This is a split between the cartoon and the manga here. So in the cartoon, we are led to believe it's just that no, Nick is going to empty all of his ammo at him and he won't die. In the manga, he is not a robot. He is an exosuit being operated by 9 little people.
Oh, that's adorable.
It is, but you also get to see what happens when they're horribly burned and full of shrapnel and try to crawl out after the end of the fight. Because the manga is pretty grim. The manga is much grimmer at this point.
Well, I'm sure the show will catch up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it will. So, yeah. Hoppard is, he gives a vocabulary lesson where he explains that he only knows the meaning of 3 words, despite using a number of words to describe them. Hoppard is just... He's E.G. Mine again, but...
I felt some similarity.
Yeah, he's just a dude with a weird suit, and you can't shoot at him directly, I guess.
Well, his suit is mostly in his hand, and it shields him from all unless you're doing some fancy stuff.
Yeah, we see some trickery. Hopper gets shot. We find out that, this version of Gray is a brain in a jar inside a robot. Things start to look bad. One generator is broken, ship's crashing. And then we see that Vash is able to do the thing where he talks to the light bulb again. We jump back to episode 6, and it's like, all right, we're going to talk the light bulb into just a little more juice. And then we see what's in the light bulb, and it's a thing. It's a being. Person with wings and weird eyes.
So are we to assume that's in every one of the light bulb generator thingies?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. That was what did he refer to? Higher powers or
beings that live outside time?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a very specific way to refer to them.
Yeah,
I'm thinking there's a
it really is. It really is. But again, that's what Brad calls him, and it's what he calls him when in a few minutes when as he's dying because they save the ship. Everyone gets out. Everyone's mad at Vash for bringing all the doom on him, and Brad's like, "No, this guy that stole my girlfriend, he's all right, actually. We're gonna get by just fine out here. I'm gonna step up and lead you, and we're
God
gonna
bless you,
follow
Brad.
his example." And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Oh wait, no, the girl is not the girl. It's a puppet. It's a puppet, and
Yeah,
the puppet girl pops out and just empties a mag. She plans on emptying it on Vash, but Brad steps into it.
sacrifices his life for Vash.
Full circle, full sacrifice thing, and we see that, yeah, no, Brad is gonna die thinking about how, no, Vash is a lot like those angels that live inside the bulbs, and that they all live outside of time. Everyone's sad. Nick finds Leonoff and just missiles him in the face.
Yes.
And then we get a montage of everyone not knowing quite know what to do.
A lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. The theme of this week, uncertainty.
The Jessica thing was well executed. You got, oh, wait, what's she doing up there? Oh,
Yeah.
I did love how Gray just shot a thigh rocket at the generator.
Yeah.
You need more thigh rockets in sci fi.
Yeah, just more interesting uses of the thigh for storage purposes.
In addition to Robocop.
Yeah, RoboCop obviously had the gun. So we are going to jump into the next episode, Alternative, directed by Shigeki Awai, who has done 5 episodes already. Keyframes on the movie, also Badlands Rebel. He also does some work under a pseudonym, and I can't read my handwriting anymore, so I'm going to double check what that is. Yeah, so he also does work as Shigenori Awai. So he did Gear Fighter Dendo, Samurai Kagura, Tsukigakure. Oh, hey, he actually did 1 episode of Sakura Quest. That's a good one.
Excellent.
Guy we know, guy we like. And we start...
Weird question.
Yeah?
Before we go ahead. I was told by Crunchyroll there's no dub option available on this episode.
Sometimes things just break, and you just... Even if you yell at them, they won't fix it.
Okay.
There are a couple episodes of... You'll just run into this, and you can file a report, and maybe they fix it eventually, but they're actually really bad about fixing these little problems. For a long time, I think still now, there's 2 episodes of Gundam Seed Destiny HD not Gundam Seed HD, not Destiny, Seed HD, that they just don't have. You go click on 15 and you can't get it. Not even
Okay.
Oh, there's a language track missing. It's just gone.
That's the episode where Jimmy Gundam says the word fuck. So they just no.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, that's just how it goes.
Step too far.
Step too far. So this episode starts with the crew camping.
Yes.
Which is mostly about the girls sleeping and the guys drinking and guilting each other.
Yeah.
Meryl is actually awake and hears all this and is concerned. She just makes concerned faces about all this. Doesn't do anything.
I do like the danger signs in the credits. Danger, fastest stampede.
Oh yeah, the switch from the wanted poster to the evacuation order is good. That's been going for a bit, but it's a good tone switch. It's a good reminder. It's good play with the opening credits. Our crew rolls up to a town. The town is like, hey, we're not going to let you in unless you give us an absurd amount of money. And they're like, but why? Because everything's bad out here. Go away.
Elliot Cation element there of never say no without a number.
Yeah. I mean,
someone says, I want you to do this thing. You don't want to do it. It's like, give me this much. And it's like, that's stupid. Okay.
See, that backfired once very famously. Windows 98. You remember Windows 98?
I remember the operating system is a thing that I had used on computers until too far into the 21st century. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So do you remember the song? The song they used to advertise Windows 98.
Was it the Rolling Stones Start Me Up, or was that 95?
That was 98 was the Rolling Stones Start Me Up. And Mick Jagger famously not interested in licensing his music ever. He did it a little in the very early career, like 67, 68. Didn't like it, didn't want to do it. So Bill Gates or someone from Microsoft calls Mr. Jagger up and says, "We would like to use Start Me Up, but not the part where we say you'll make a grown man cry in our advertising." And do you know what happens? Jagger says, "Sure," for absurd amount of money, forgetting that he's talking to Bill Gates, who can just, yeah, any number he can get. So yeah, that is why maybe you just say no to people and hang up sometimes, because now you have to give this. Well, oh.
On the other hand, Mick Jagger did get that amount of money, which I'm sure.
And he had to share that with Mr. Richards, of course. But yes, yeah, he did get that much. He did.
Yeah.
Probably saved him from going on at least one tour.
Saved us from having to hear about this Rolling Stones going on another tour. Angry boomers.
As a Torontonian, I will respect him for doing the Stars show.
Yes.
And no other show after that, actually.
Well, they like Toronto, but thank them for enjoying the city.
Yeah.
And yes, the SARS concert was great and an incredible experience. And Toronto did not have the infrastructure to pull it off.
Never will. Never will.
Just walking 3 or 4 hours in every direction until you hit a transit spot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I look forward to us hosting the World Cup.
Oh, Jesus.
And a Taylor Swift concert.
I'm literally planning to call in sick that week.
I think hybrid work has done a lot to help that, but yeah, no, we're not doing anything remotely downtown for the World Cup. All right, so after being rejected from the one town, they encounter a feral child being.
Yes.
Who is just. What is this child doing? He's not stealing the car. He's just looking for shit, right?
Rummaging for some supplies.
He is rummaging. Millie defends the feral child being. So they decide to go to take a detour to a town that is only feral child beings. It's like Mad Max 3. It's just all the kids in a spot.
The self-organized orphanage, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's a classic of the genre. Which genre? Many.
Yes.
We learn that a bunch of towns have been drying up in this way, where kids are being left behind and adults are leaving. We see that it is the work of Legato and his mind control stuff, and that he is taunting Vash. Vash has been doing side quest shit when the main quest marker is sitting right there in the middle of the map. And Legato ain't having it, and he is escalating things.
I think Legato loves Knives almost as much as Knives loves Vash.
Yeah, this is the vibe.
Triangle tension going on here.
This is basically how the shipping scene was back in the day. It might still be now. I don't know what the shipping scene is like. I feel like it's pivoted to much more Vash Wolfwood stuff and has left Legato behind. But that was basically the scene, with Mid Valley being like the fourth wheel to all this as well. Just recreating the triangle 1 degree off.
You never feel sorry for a saxophonist.
Can't feel sorry for a saxophonist.
They know what they did.
They're attention-seeking little bitches. This episode brought to you by former band geeks. All right, so we get some domesticity as everyone tries to help out this child colony. like teaching
They
them
just
how.
had groceries with them, like a sack. Here, children, take this sack of groceries.
Well, I mean, like these guys have been driving around the desert kind of aimlessly. I believe you'd have a cooler full of whatever. We see that. I think this is actually the point where Vash is trying to make nice with the kids. Is the first time he's taken his sunglasses off in the episode, which is like,
Mhm.
oh, that's him signaling that he's open again. Doesn't work. Nick calls him out. It's like, yeah, they know you're faking. Um, we see that the original feral child is suffering from nightmares, and that
Yeah,
he does need comfort. And then the next morning, worms. We got worm sign.
sandworm. Well, plus there is shootouts in the village, right?
Yeah, there's some shooting going on in the village, and we got worms.
Is it just me? I did notice the animation seemed a little off on this episode.
This one might have
Like,
been might have been a low budget episode. I mean, OI has done some of the other smaller budget episodes, the ones where they've had to cheat it a bit.
I just noticed like there were some scenes where you're like, it would pan down the line of children, completely static.
Yep, great budget. Fantastic budget thing. The pan.
Yeah.
Gotta love
So-
a Ken Burns in anime. They call it the Ken Burns, but I think it's probably more likely like the TV anime. Just pan across the background and let the voices play.
My dearest Wolfwood, find myself trapped at this orphanage with all these children. As a being from beyond time, I don't know. Sorry, just
Oh
putting a
no,
bunch of stuff together.
no,
Poor Nolan.
it's a good riff. It's funnier. In the Civil War, like in Ken Burns' Civil War, it's got a bunch of gravitas. Same with Ken Burns' Vietnam. But he tries to do it in baseball and prohibition, and you're just like, no, prohibition is not this serious.
I wish he'd done it in his Superman documentary.
Oh,
My
God. Why?
dearest Lois, I go now to fight doomsday, not knowing if I shall return to you. If I do not, please know. Maybe I was Clark Kent. I can't really say that at one point or another, but hey, no, just that vaguely to drop your voice an octave and be very serious. My dearest Millie.
Yeah. All right. So we have sandworms, the likes of which God has never seen.
And Vash won't even kill those.
No, he won't kill those. And they're like freak. We have not seen we have seen desert hazards, but we have not seen the worms before. They're weird looking. They've got like the lamprey mouth, which is a great touch because that just makes them triple ooky.
You'd think they would be acknowledged as part of that desert ecosystem because sandworms generally establish that right off.
I mean, we had the geyser episode, and what if the geyser episode actually was just like, no, we have to wait for the worms to migrate?
That works.
Yeah, makes more sense. Yeah.
Sandworms were implied, if not specifically stated.
Yeah. Anyway, no killing the bugs. Kids are on the run. People on the run. Turns out there's some hypersonic shenanigans as the starter feral child being was actually in control of the worms the whole time.
The whole time?
The whole time. Yeah. But maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he's about to break. There's a moment of tension where Vash is like, I can talk this kid down. And Nick is just like, no, I will murder this child. Like, the kid is no longer in control of the worms at this point. They have destroyed the worm control device. But now...
Well, the worm is neutralized. But, I mean, he's still packing.
Yeah.
Like, he's got Millie. No, he's got Meryl at gunpoint. He's got Vash at gunpoint.
Yeah, so Nick D. Wolfwood murders a child in front of everyone. And no one likes that. Everyone's mad about it.
I think Nick Wolfwood had a point. Morally, yes, seems awkward, but this is not a purely innocent child. He's a member of the Go Home gang or the Great Henry's gang. I have just GHG written down.
Yeah,
I'm just. What are they called again? God help me.
They are the gung ho guns, not the
Gung ho guns.
Not the gerontology hormone group. No, this is it. He's and the kid's talking a big game now that he's awake. It's like, no, I have a gun. I will murder one of you. I'm bad. I am bad. I am a bad person who does bad things for real. And yeah, Nick just ices him. Might not have been the right call, but we don't want to talk about that until next episode.
Where that's all we talk about.
Where that's all we talk about, give or take. Paradise?
2D6. It's 2D6.
2D6.
Paradise.
Directed by... Alright, so Norihiko Nagahama, who... long-time working guy, keyframes, storyboards, individual episodes, worked on Amazing Stranger, Aoki Densetsu Shoot, a bunch of episodes of Shinkelion, which is a show where the bullet train system is a transforming robot that fights monsters. He has also done a bunch of bondage hentai direct-to-video titles under his real name, which is like...
There you go.
I'm not saying you can't do a bunch of bondage-themed hentai titles.
Is that unusual? Do you usually want to...
Usually there is a pseudonym system going on for everyone involved. So him doing specifically bondage material is probably saying a lot about him.
He's not afraid to let his freak flag fly.
Yeah, him and Mr. Marston are hanging out. He is also the only show he's done in the big chair, the big series director chair, is I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm-related skills. Part of the ever-growing corpus of lit RPG material with very long titles from Japan.
Now, I did note at the end of the previous episode, a priest with an apple was outside of town.
Yes.
That was something I would like to say I did notice, because he is big.
A priest with an apple. I know guys that use subtext.
And they're all cowards.
Okay, it is interesting that the apple is green in this episode. That I will say. Like, traditionally, the malum is depicted as red. So going with green is interesting. And probably deliberate, because we see red apples at other points. We see red apples with knives on the flashback spaceship. We'll see red apples in the future with knives, actually. So that's a thing. They're saying something by using a green apple, actually. I don't know exactly what, but it is interesting.
He's a very tart priest. No,
just you know what? Ideally, you would prefer that apple baked. You would prefer that as part of a crumble?
That apple would work well in a chicken salad.
Oh, like with some walnuts?
Yes.
Yeah. Blue cheese? Yeah.
This man knows. Yes.
Yeah. Know what I mean. All right, so the episode starts with Wolfwood talking about his past, where he murdered a man when he was 7.
Yeah.
Just murder.
Not the worst thing anyone's done on the show, to be honest.
Not the worst thing. It is implied that whoever he murdered definitely deserved it. And from murdering his parental figure, he is recruited into what I will describe as deranged murder priest training.
There you go.
Just 10 years of 9mm practice, and we don't know what else.
So many shells.
Just like did your training not include sweeping up your practice area? This is like the opposite of the Karate Kid. He doesn't have to clean anything. He just has to do the basic.
And I don't think you can graduate until your shell casings are at least knee high. That's like, keep shooting, kid.
Yeah. We are now in the town of Carcasses that kicked off this final arc where it's like, oh yeah, that town Legato emptied and wrote knives on the middle of it. Vash expresses his frustration by shooting an eye into the knives part.
Dot in the eye.
Dot in the eye. he doesn't know what to do after that. That's it. Like he's done that. We have everybody rethinking and reconsidering Zazie. We have Vash and Millie talk about it. Knives and Meryl, or Vash and Meryl talk about it. Knives and Millie talk about it.
You mean Wolfwood and Meryl?
Yeah,
And Millie.
Wolfwood and Millie talk about it. Wolfwood's thinking about it while trying to fix up his motorcycle to escape again. And then a priest in black shows up again. We have a lecture about hesitation and decision making from Chapel the Evergreen.
For some reason, I don't know why, I thought Wolfwood was Chapel. That
So
was the assumption I'd been working on for a while, and I was mistaken.
so a bunch of characters assume that he is Chapel because he is a priest who shoots people. He is working with the gung ho guns, we find out. And
Yes, very disappointing.
and the other thing is that in the manga, Nick is Chapel. So
Okay.
some of the earlier some earlier episodes were like probably drawing from those outlines where it's like, oh yeah, there's Chapel the Evergreen, this guy we will learn about. We established the stakes for the episode, which is that Chapel the Evergreen has welcomed Nick into the gung ho guns. I guess they're allowed 2 priests with machine guns. They're allowed 2.
That's the maximum, but you know.
I feel like the gung ho guns is an organization that values niche protection. I mean, they only had 1 samurai. They only got 1 sniper. I don't know why
he seemed to be under the impression that Wolfwood would take over the role of Chapel.
Yeah, like I guess Chapel would graduate. But yeah, Nick, all the money that Knives promised will go to Nick's orphanage, and that he is officially in the gung ho guns as long as he kills Vash. The rule is not nudge Vash toward Knives. The rule is now just kill Vash. We're done. We are done. On the outskirts of town, we see Kane the long shot. Just I love this thing. It is so greebly and dumb. I love it.
That is beautiful.
It is a large caliber rifle with an extending barrel with all these little bipods on it. It's like a 1/4 mile long.
So many bipods. It is now my
second
favorite anime sniper rifle.
Yeah, no, love this thing. So dumb, so greebly. I love it. We have more meditations on guilt. Millie comes to Wolfwood with sandwiches and coffee. I don't think they eat the sandwiches or drink the coffee. I think Millie expresses
is eating sandwiches a code of some kind?
I don't think so. Millie expresses her confidence in the way Vash believes about and what Vash believes about the world. Nick breaks down crying. There are hugs, and we cut. And the next time we see them, Nick is just standing moodily in the moonlight without a shirt, smoking. So something happened, man. Something went down.
They connected emotionally and physically, and I'm happy that finally happened because there was so happy we're gonna get a nice friendly relationship between these two that will last us to the end of the series.
Yeah, it'll be great. It's really going to be an anchor, an emotional core going into the finale as things escalate. You know, it'll be a pillar of reassurance. We also cut to see that Vash is locked in uncertainty. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what's going on. And Nick just pulls a gun on him. And it's like, all right, man, what are you going to do out there? And it's like, look, I have to meet Knives, and I don't know what I'm going to do. He says he doesn't know. It's like, yeah, by all rights, I should kill him. Vash. Yeah, I should take care of him. And he doesn't know what that means.
Glad it's not just me. I was a little uncertain. Like, did she say, take care of him? Or did she say, take care of him?
The ambiguity. The ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
And their conversation is interrupted by sniper fire. As you know, many a tense conversation in my life has been.
Yeah.
Because I pay people to shoot at me when I want to get out of a conversation. It's a lot like asking your friend to text you 5 minutes into a date to be a sick aunt, but I really mean it.
Yeah.
I really mean it. I really mean it. I have my friend just fire into the restaurant so I don't have to continue this meeting.
Just take out the nachos, and I'll go. Oh, gotta go!
Oh no!
Ah,
Sniper
get to
fire has
safety.
destroyed the artichoke dip. I have to run. Life hack. Pay someone to interrupt your Zoom meetings with sniper fire. Nick says, all right, you fight the sniper. There's another guy in town. I'll fight him. We then jump to... So Vash gets in the car and goes to fight a sniper, do counter sniper stuff. And we have the animators admitting they don't know how to draw a fight between two guys with light machine guns that makes any sense. So it's a lot of just
standing in the middle of the street.
Yeah. There's just a lot of standoffs, cut to an establishing shot, and sounds of gunfire. We get a lot of just like not depicting how how this works, and a lot of instead in favor of cat and mouse. We see a scene where I don't know, they're like trying to outwit each other, and Chapel presumably crawls into a coffin, arranges for that coffin to be dropped off a roof and then land in front of Wolfwood. I don't know how this gimmick works.
I think that's just how I don't know. The coffin was kind of cool.
It's like so Wolfwood cool, though. The roof.
Yes, and the coffin just lands in front of him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we are shooting our way through the streets. Wolfwood is hidden behind an air conditioner. One of the most bulletproof things on Earth, actually. There's a bunch of metal in it. You should hide behind air conditioners. And then all of a sudden, he's on the roof, and then a coffin falls down, which means he jumps out of the coffin, which means he crawled into the coffin in such a way that like it tilted. Maybe there was a flip-a-majig, one of those stuntman boosters, right? Lifts for it, and it's so cool though. It's so Django, like OG Django. By the way, most of this team would collaborate on an anime based on a video game called Gungrave, which had a lot of the same sort of imagery. So they were like, "We will this brought we." The game's fun. The game's interesting because it starts out as sort of like a Devil May Cry clone. They get Naitao, the manga guy, to do the character design. And so he designs a lot of the weapons based on basically the Wolfwood aesthetic. The Wolfwood and Chapel aesthetic.
People love the Wolfwood aesthetic.
Well, yeah, it's so close to Spawn, too, right? It's so close to Spawn. And more so for Gungrave. And then they make an anime with basically this same creative team. And they're like, oh, we're going to do this all the time now. You
find something that works. You stick with it.
Oh, you make it happen. You make it happen. We then see that Wolfwood has been bamboozled by the Coffin Gambit into going into a bar where all of the booze has been busted on the floor.
Yes.
So Chapel lights that bar on fire. Wolfwood escapes via rocket launcher.
Blows his way right out of the bar.
Look, this is
set on fire.
Like, Wolfwood is a character that is a reference to Desperado, and this episode is like, nah, we're gonna do some Desperado shit. We're doing it. We watched those movies. We know it's what.
Did Robert Rodriguez get a credit?
I'm sure he's really flattered and really happy about it. I'm sure if we sat him down with it, it'd be like, oh yeah, this is fun. I like this. So while this is all going on, out in the desert, Vash has found Kane, just tricks him with the jacket in the driver's seat trick, shoots up the gun. You know, that old trick. Shoots up the gun. Kane's like, well, I've clearly lost here. I'm just going to nope out and suicide. Much like a few past get-along gangs. They don't actually get along that well. They don't get along.
Don't plan contingencies that good.
They don't.
What if my enormously giant sniper rifle, anything goes wrong with it? Yeah. You just consider yourself over and plug yourself one in the brain pan. Is there a shorter gun I can use on the other guy? Nope. That's it. You have served your narrative purpose.
Look, if you can't kill a man from a mile away, I don't know how you kill a man that close to you. You had so many chances to kill him from a mile away. What do you think you can do now that you can see him unaided? with a gun. He has a gun. He could just try to. He's got at least
has a gun.
He's got a revolver. He's got at least 5 shots. He can take a couple. You're gonna try. College try. But now it's like, nah, my gimmick has been exhausted for the day. I bid you adieu.
Wait, you can use this small gun on other people? That's crazy. What are you talking about? Only big guns are used on other people. Anything I can hold in one hand, it's for using in the kitchen and self-murder.
So
gonna have to put a trigger.
This one comes with a content warning, folks. Suicide is serious business, and if you're having trouble, seek help. Also, if you're having trouble with gun control in your entire country, seek moving. Your country's not gonna get better.
Take a Sharpie, scratch out that second. How did we get into here? My God. Anyway,
I'm just pointing out that suicide rates are also crimes of availability. Like when people put the nets under bridges, they work because people don't make good decisions. Anyway, we
can
cut
I
back.
Just make one other observation while we're talking about this sequence?
Yeah.
His name is Kane.
Yes.
Now, isn't it a shame they wasted that on the sniper guy?
Yeah.
Instead of the evil twin brother?
Yeah, like we have the evil twin brother who we have already done Cain and Abel imagery with. But no, we'll just call this dude with the rifle.
Is the rifle named Abel? Because I would do that. I would go with that. If they want to do that, I would say thank you. All right, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to double check that right now. It probably has a name. It probably does. It's probably on the back of a box of an action figure from Todd McFarlane. I'm not seeing it. I don't think they did.
Kane the Longshot is a mute, talented sniper who can cloak his body. He carries an oversized rifle with telescopic barrel, which spans over many meters, allows him to hit targets placed several miles away from him. He also carries a revolver.
Yeah, this is the level of the wiki. Any wiki, really. Wikis were a mistake. We jump back into town, and we have Nick versus Chapel coming to a head, and Nick chooses mercy. He chooses to win non-violently. We see that he's exhausted. They are both exhausted, and Nick will let it happen.
Feeling the love and peace.
He's feeling the love and peace. He has realized that he can move beyond his circumstances. We even call it out. It's like, yeah, Chapel's like, I wasted 10 years on you. It's like, nah, I think I learned how to do things your methods my way. I think I can move on and, be a happy, well-adjusted person who can have a positive impact on the world now. I'm going to steal this green apple, completing the cycle, and eat it. And it's a good apple, actually. I recant my assumptions that it was some sort of sour, bitter, only for baking type apple.
Very sweet.
Or maybe this is all a metaphor for growing as a person and whatnot. We see that Vash has buried Cain. We see that Nick is running into Vash. It's like, how'd you do? I couldn't save him. You'll get the next one. Shuffles off, trailing blood. Just shuffles off, trailing blood. And they have a little discussion about mortality. We say that we have Nick explain that Knives is in Dimitri. You should go to Dimitri. Shuffles off, trailing blood, and we get the one of the great anime scenes. The I am dying, so I'm going to explain my entire character arc and over the course of several minutes. Really, I'm going to take a few minutes to sum up my entire character arc while I die.
And it shouldn't be this good.
It's so cheesy. It's so bad. Like, it is a trope, and it's bad, and it's cheesy. And between the acting on both sides actually, the score and just when they use when they do cut to Nick's imagination of what heaven looks like, it's good. it works. We have Nick start his confession, and he talks through all his problems. We have him try to
Framing of him and the cross.
yeah.
Kind of forget for a second that it's his gun.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Like, Nick is a guy who believes in violence. He believes he carries across a symbol of redemption, and he calls it the Punisher. It has a fucking little Punisher skull as its operational doohickey in the middle. And in episode 20, he said he believed in Vash. He believed that Vash could do better than him. And in this episode, he found a way to do better than himself. And it's earned. It's been piecing together this whole time. We've had this question of, decisiveness, and, we've had him, the product of abuse, realizing that, a quick decision to violence isn't good because it's quick. It's good because you decided something or didn't decide something. And he decided nonviolence, and he won ish.
Mm.
That he got forced into where he is now.
Yeah.
And he talks through it, and he literally confesses and accepts not Christ, Vash. He accepts love and peace. He accepts love and peace. He has his last cigarette, and that's it. He's done.
The first church of Rem Severin.
Yeah. The first, the Eden of a new world. And yeah, we get the only reaction that we get to Nick's death is Millie's. Millie's. She's sitting on the bed, like, he said he'd come back. I'm waiting for him.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the episode.
Whew, that was a good one. That was intense.
Yeah, and God, I think about it, this is the show that kind of made me stick with anime. It made anime stick for me as a thing I would do as a hobby and as a interest for my life, because I'm of that generation that should have aged out of cartoons. Should have, right? Everyone ages out of cartoons when you're about 12. And anime did this thing where it's like, actually, no, we can have animated material that's a little more sophisticated, a little more careful, a little more thoughtful. And, I'm of that age where it's like, okay, Pokemon hits, Dragon Ball Z, not that mature either. And then I'm 14 and I get to see this show that is kind of also very silly for half. And it's like, no, we're going to be serious, and we're going to kill a guy off, and it's going to be really good despite all the cheesy parts of it, all the unsubtle cheeseball parts of it. And it's like, yeah, no, this is part of what made this stick for me. And it's interesting that it parallels. We have this show that gets more serious as it goes, and it's like, oh yeah, no, you watching cartoons can just pick more serious cartoons as you get older.
It was not a silly goof in this episode, Scott.
Like,
where is my silly goof in a red coat?
The cat cameo is just like sitting on some guy's lap while Nick is about to be taken off to weird deranged murder training.
Yes. Which means, how old is that cat? That cat is...
Look, the cat has appeared in two places at roughly the same time. In the episode with, like, okay, back to episode 21. The cat was in town and also in the old guy's lap watching the generator readouts.
Yeah.
The cat is perhaps not one cat, or a cat that can bifurcate. I don't know.
Or it's possible the cat lives outside of time and space.
The cat is also beyond time.
Don't judge the
cat. I would not judge this cat. It would be foolish of it. It's foolish to judge any cat. Okay. It will not accept your judgment.
It will mock your judgment.
It will refute all attempts to judge things you should judge. Justin, what do you think of these 3 episodes?
That was great. Oh my God. So,
well, I mean, okay, the second half of the Seed Ship and this episode, peak of the series in a lot of ways, and the Zazie stuff is important tissue to connect the two.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this is rocker.
It was. I just need to thank you again for bringing me into this, because that was enjoyable. Seems like a strong term to use over the last episode,
Cathartic?
but cathartic. Yes, very engaging. Very. So I think we only have two George, Harry, and Ginny left. We've got the Horn Freak, and does Legato count as one of the members, or is he their leader?
Yeah, no, he counts. He counts. Knives
Okay.
is not a numbered member of the Gung Ho Guns, but so we have 3 episodes left. We have 2 Gung Ho Guns, and we have 1 episode before we are, I guess. Okay, we'll talk about the Trigun movie, but we are 1 episode before really the halfway point on season 1 of this show, this podcast. I'm calling it season 1.
Okay.
So yeah, so 3 episodes left. Where do you see this going beyond just blowing up a saxophonist?
Oh, that son of a bitch has got it coming. Well, I mean, we're gonna learn, possibly. I don't know. I mean, I can see it totally happening that we have no idea at the end who Knives and Bash are. It'll be implied, but it will never be actually written out. Or finally, we get a summary. I hope that there is something about creatures outside of time, and we're definitely going to get a resolution. Who Knives wants it to end violently. I think he'd be fine if he gets Vash to kill him. That's what I think. I don't think he cares about surviving as long as he can make Vash be as bad a person as himself. And I'm hoping that Vash will live up to the example set by Rem. And maybe we'll see. I'm looking forward. I'm just 3 more eps. Good to go.
Yep. Yeah. So in the old days, I had to double check the episode count on what episodes were on what disc, because I fiddled with it a bit. I think when I first planned this series, I wanted it to match the discs. We did 5 instead of 4 on disc 1, as it were. But yeah, so they did 4 episodes on disc 1, 3 episodes for the rest, and 4 for the last disc on disc 8. So this would have been what start you bought to start. So you would have gotten to Zazie the Beast would have been end of DVD 7, and then you would have gotten this as your start to disc 8, knowing that you were going into the end game.
All right.
But until next time, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank Justin for helping me co-host this. Thank anyone who wants to leave a rating, a review, or share it with anyone you feel like. You can, of course, back us on Ko-fi to get episodes early. You can visit hlj.com to receive slight discounts on and pre-order many exciting items from Japan. And you can also just, have a great month. We'll see you when we see you again.
Take care, folks.
Yep.